Here's an interesting fun fact. As a realtor, I help people sell their homes for a living. I take all the guesswork out of it. That is literally my thing. And right now, I'm the one who's doing that. I'm the one who's kind of guessing and needing some information and more help and guidance. I'm the one relocating from Fairfax County, Northern Virginia, where I live, where I've built my life, my business, everything is up here, down to Richmond, Virginia, about an hour and a half south. And I am standing in the exact same spot many of my clients are standing in every single time they come to me. And I've moved many times across the country, and I've been in this situation a variety of ways. But right now, I'm noticing something a little different about this move. I'm a bit overwhelmed. I'm a bit unsure of where to start. And in my case, maybe I'm a little bit more scared than other moves because this is likely the last move that I'm going to make because we're getting ready to put down roots near my kids and grandsons. So, no pressure, right? I'm Kristen Borschon, and I specialize in helping sellers and buyers navigate the complex markets here in Northern Virginia, and of course, soon to be Richmond, Virginia, when you're going through a transition like downsizing, upsizing, and relocating. And now I'm doing it right there with you. So today I'm pulling back the curtain. I'm going to walk you through exactly how I'm thinking about this, both as a realtor and as a homeowner. So if you're in the same boat, whether you're moving 90 minutes away or across the country, you're going to know how to think through this next relocation time as a strategy that's going to work for you. So first, let's name what's actually happening here because most people don't even realize there are two totally different situations that could possibly be going on when you're relocating. So let's just talk about Camp One. You already know where you're going. You've either bought the place in your next state that you're going to move, you have some land you're going to build, whatever it is, you kind of have decided and it's kind of locked in. Your next address exists. You just need the timing on how to sell the current home you're in. So that's one decision you have to make, and that's what I call my Camp One people. My Camp Two people, and of course this is me and probably you, you're deciding everything all at once. You're deciding where to live, what to buy, what can I afford, what's selling, you have to do right now. Nothing is settled yet. That's exactly how it feels. And these two situations require two different strategies. And the mistake I often see most sellers making is they treat them the same way, and they're not. So I want to talk today about Camp Two. So stick with me, and I want to talk to you about a couple of things that just doesn't come up that much in real estate conversations, but it exists in every single one, especially one as complicated as this, and it's the emotional weight of what might be your final move when you're relocating. So for a lot of us, whether you're in your 50s, 60s, or you're just at a stage of life where the next house feels more permanent, this just isn't a transaction. It's a decision you're most likely going to be living with for decades. And that kind of changes how you're thinking about everything, especially your next move. Do you downsize? Do you find something that works for right now? Or do you have to plan out how it might be in 10 or 15 years from now? Do you prioritize where you're going to live if it's living near family? Or do you finally want to live where somewhere it actually fits the lifestyle that you want? So for me, Richmond checked off a lot of my boxes. It's close to my kids and grandsons. It's a strong community, beautiful neighborhoods. And honestly, the pace of life that feels right for me where I'm headed in this next stage. But here's what I have to remind myself. There's this fear that I have about making the wrong choice about where I'm going to live. And it's kind of paralyzing. And I'm kind of experiencing it right now. I'm overthinking, I'm stalling a bit, I'm making simple choices about this. So I've taken a step back and I've given myself some permission to make a little bit slower decisions, smarter decisions, super informed decisions, but not necessarily perfect ones. And that's what I want you to do too. And I'm going to help you do that. Okay, so let's get into it. If you're in Camp Two, you're selling your current home and figuring out where you're going to buy next. And you're doing this because you need the equity out of your first house in order to buy the next house, right? So here's what you're actually working with, the pros. You're most likely going to know around the budget before you actually commit. When your current home sells first, you know exactly what you're walking away with. There's no guessing your down payment, no hoping what the equity is or what you thought it might be. You've worked with an agent like me to understand the financials of selling your home so that you can go into your new purchase with clarity. And this is huge, especially if you're making a major financial decision that I am that actually needs to last for kind of a long time right now. I don't, and you probably don't want to be carrying two mortgages. That's one of the scariest scenario in any relocation is owning two properties at the same time if you know you really can't afford it. Two mortgage payments, two sets of taxes and insurance, two of everything, right? Selling or getting your home while under contract and buying the new one eliminates that risk because you're going to have the cash from the equity out of your house to purchase your second home, but you do need to time it correctly. You're going to have a little bit of negotiating power as a buyer, but you're not going to have total power because while your home is under contract and you're making offers on your new home in your new place, you are still making a contingent offer, not exactly a home run. At least you have the home under contract. You're moving towards closing, which gives sellers peace of mind. Sellers like this, they want usually your home sold before you put in an offer. And that's something you need to consider when you're making the offer on your new property. How can you maybe sweeten the offer? If this is a home you really like, you got to look at those contingencies or other things that maybe a seller needs in order to accommodate this and get your offer accepted. Okay, so that's one thing to consider. Now, here are some cons, and let's be real, and they're real. It's the timing gap. Let's say your home sells before you've even found the right place to wherever you're going. You could land yourself in a temporary housing situation where maybe you need to rent something or you need to do a rent back with the sellers, or maybe you just need to move out and figure out an Airbnb situation. While it's all manageable, it does require planning. You're making big decisions while still in this transition, and buying a home in a new market, also when you don't fully understand what's going on, is kind of hard. If you are not, know the area really well, you don't know the neighborhoods as a local does. You don't know, that certain neighborhoods have certain things that you may or may not want. Do you buy an existing home or do you go for the new construction one? Well, for me, that's meant doing serious homework on the Richmond area before I even list in Northern Virginia. I've been visiting neighborhoods, talking to agents down there, understanding what the market looks like. This is not something you can skip, otherwise you might make a misstep while moving from one house to another. And this is emotional. Selling your home and searching for a new one simultaneously is a lot. And it's okay to acknowledge that. Build in the time margin. This process always takes longer than you think, and it's always more stressful and more emotional than you ever planned for. Give yourself some grace. Now I'm approaching the financial side and, how this kind of makes sense for everyone going through this. So step one, know your net before you're actually making offers. Before you list your current home, sit down and run all those real numbers. What are you going to walk away with after all the closing costs and commissions are paid? What is your, payoff amount, and what's the actual number that you're going to essentially net when moving from one place to another? And for me, moving from Fairfax County, where home values are actually very strong, to Richmond, this is meaningful to understand because while I'm moving to a smaller market, home prices are still very much in line with what's happening here in Northern Virginia. So it's going to be kind of a one-to-one move. But I have to be honest about what it's going to cost to move and make sure I have built that into my financial plan. Step two, just make sure that you're getting approved in your destination market before you list so you know what you can borrow independent of the sale proceeds. You want to know your full picture, even if you plan to use your equity or a large portion of the amount of your, appreciation from your house. You want to know, do I need a loan and what is that ceiling if I have one? And step three, define your must-haves versus your would-be nice. When this might be your last move, the temptation is to get everything on your list. I get it. I'm in the same boat, but I have prioritized ruthlessly. For me, I really would love single level living with a primary on the main floor. If I have to have two floors, I want it to be low maintenance and in a neighborhood with great walkability and amenities. But everything is negotiable, and you have to be willing to give up a few things unless you're building a custom home on the perfect land. And that's just real estate. There's always give and take. And step four, you want to budget for that gap. Whatever your transition period looks like, 1 month, 3 months, whatever it is, budget for temporary housing, storage, and even the emotional cost of living in between two places. The number is always higher than people expect. Have this in cash reserves that is separate from the money you need to purchase and move into the new house. This is what I call a new bucket of money. And step five, don't over improve your current home. I see this constantly. Sellers spend tens of thousands of dollars on renovations right before they list, thinking this is what buyers want, and they don't quite get it back. And they're going to need that money when they go to buy their new place. Focus on the updates and repairs that move the needle for buyers. Not every cosmetic upgrade is worth it. And this is actually my little sweet spot, by the way. I love figuring out exactly what's worth doing and what isn't in your neighborhood. And I have a video for that, so go look for that one. Now, I am going from Fairfax County to Richmond, an hour and a half away. That's actually one of the easier versions that you can have. It's kind of like living in the same area, right? I can go visit neighborhoods on a weekend. I can have coffee in neighborhoods in Richmond and check out that area, and then head to maybe one of the suburbs like Midlothian to see what those neighborhoods are like and what kind of home I can have there. I can get a real feel for where I want to land. But here's the thing, and here's truly what it is, and I want you to understand this. This works the same whether you're moving 90 minutes away or to another state entirely, because the decision sequence doesn't change. In Camp 2, you always have to know your net. You need to know your budget, and you need to research heavily where you're moving to and what you're going to purchase. You've got to define those priorities, plan for the gap. If you're moving across the country, you're leaning more heavily on trusted local agents in the new market, more virtual tours, maybe a little bit more diligence from afar, but the bones of the strategy is identical. The only thing that changes with distance is how much runway you need. The further you move, the earlier you need to start. That's just how it is. So here's where I am right now. I'm in the research phase. I haven't listed yet. I haven't made an offer on anything in the Richmond area yet. I'm doing what I tell most of my clients in this position to do: get clear before you make a move. And I'm going to document how this is going for me, because if I'm going through it, you probably are too, and want to know what I've discovered along the way. And I hope this information will become valuable to you. If you're in this situation, whether you're relocating, you might be overwhelmed, you're not sure of where to start, reach out. I'm going through it too. We'll talk about it. I work with sellers in the Northern Virginia area, and I can connect you with the right people in your destination market. And that's key. Don't just Google and hope for the best and get an agent who really knows the area. Let me help you with a personal introduction to someone you can trust to make this move more successful wherever you are ending up. Wherever you are across the country, I can help you. As an EXP agent, I have access to over 90,000 agents, and I will find someone for you. If you're selling in Nova, I hope you're going to text or comment that you're ready to start this conversation with me, because I'd love to be the one to help you navigate from this area. I hope you found this helpful. Would love for you to subscribe. Would love for you to make comments about what's going on where you're at, because I'm going to keep making videos that skip the fluff and talk about real estate the way we're all actually experience it. Real people, real experiences. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.